Hi, I'm Garrett from macetech.com. I'm going to show you how to assemble the RGB Shades Kit to end up with this final product, RGB Shades from Macetech. So you start off with the RGB Shades Kit itself, which will come in a box similar to this. And you'll probably need a couple of extra tools. Most important would be some pliers. Next would be some tweezers. You'll definitely need a small Phillips head screwdriver. And you'll definitely need some thread locker, or, failing that, some glue of some type. But you'll need this, otherwise the screws will come off eventually. So let's get started. Inside the kit, you'll find a number of parts. This is the controller board. So this contains the microcontroller. This is the thin USB cable. This is the hacker leg. We won't use this just yet, but this is for expanding I/O and doing custom circuitry on the RGB shades. This is a small bag of hardware and other parts. This is a bag of PCB parts used for the frame. And this is the LED panel itself. So just check over, make sure there's no problems. These are all 100% tested, but it doesn't hurt to make sure nothing got damaged in shipping. So to start, let's sort out the parts. I'm going to open up the bag of frame parts. And this is the left side leg. This will be our right side leg. And in here we've got these small parts that will slot together to form the frame of the device. So this should go, if we look at the silk screen, it's cosmetic, it doesn't really matter which side they go on, but it's better to put the silk screen side down. So let's go over here. This one. Okay, so we've got these roughly sorted out. Next we have the hardware. Carefully dump that out. There's some very small screws in here, so make sure you put these in a place where you're going to be able to recover everything that came out. First, we have the hex wrench. We have several lengths of screws, spacers, a nose pad. Let's put these aside for now, the cable and the nose pad. And let's start by putting this together. Everything should slot together smoothly. We'll take this washer and drop it into the slot, and then take the other frame piece and just kind of lever it into place to make sure the washer is also in that slot. And we use one of these 6mm screws and feed it through. Then we put some Loctite on the screw, take one of the M3 nuts, place it on top of the screw, then thread that in and tighten it. It's okay to be just finger tight like this. You can get a little bit more leverage by squeezing these together, and that'll get it tight enough. You don't want to tighten it down so hard that the PCB flexes a whole bunch or anything like that. So this is done. Let's do the same with the controller side. Oops. So these small parts can be pretty finicky, so it's okay to get some tweezers and to use those to carefully position the parts. So we'll use that 6mm screw, feed it through the washer, put on a dab of Loctite, or thread locker. I guess Loctite's a brand name, but whatever. Just get that cinched down. And that one's done. Similar process with the frame. We'll take one of these small pieces, slot it into the side, just like that. And then I usually like to use the tweezers to carefully position this nut into this slot. And then work this on top of that, so the nut is trapped in the slot. And then it's a little hard to get the Loctite in, so I'll typically dab some onto the screw. Didn't really get much on there, but we're just doing a demo here. And cinch it down. This one's pretty easy to get, a little too tight, but you want to get it down fairly tight because it's a mechanical part and the fiberglass is pretty strong. But you know, don't like get a pipe and put some leverage on the hex wrench or anything. So I'll dab a Loctite there. All right, this is almost done. So next we should, well, I guess we can go ahead and attach the nose pad now. So we have everything partially disassembled. So the nose pads, we have several of these insert nuts. We'll just kind of press in there. Kind of preload those into the holes on the nose pad. And then position it on the back of the shades. Take some of the small screws. We typically give you an extra screw just because they're so small they might get lost. So just get that in there. Don't worry too much, you can't cinch it down. Tighten it too much just yet. Alright, and then to tighten it, I typically take the pliers, and you're not going to like tighten it down too much. Just get a little bit of a grip on it and get a little bit tighter. And just take your time. All right, so that's on there pretty good. And these are rubber with metal inserts, so you can bend these to fit your nose a little bit better if the glasses don't fit just right. So next, let's take some of these little plastic spacers, and this is similar to the original version. We just kind of lever it in place, get them centered on the holes in the brackets. All right, and then next, just a little bit of Loctite on the screw. Let's line up the holes, push that through. So now we have one hinge partially done. And then position the nut on that screw. Tighten. And these you don't want to tighten too much because that will affect the tightness of the hinge itself. So you depend on the Loctite or the thread locker or glue to prevent the nut from sliding off. But you see this one's a little bit tight. You can actually use this to adjust the fit. If it's tight enough, you can kind of use it as a semi permanent position to make them fit a little bit better. So use your judgment on how tight you want them. So Loctite. All right. This is a little bit trickier because of the connector. So the connector is a little bit close to that screw, but we'll just use that to we'll just use the tweezers to feed the nut into place. And then use the hex wrench to get it started. Okay. And then we can, you're not going to put too much torque on this, so using tweezers to hold the nut in place is usually just fine. So that's almost together. Last part is the cable. So we'll just kind of pre-shape that and snap it into place here. And then feed it up to the other connector. Just get that lined up. To pre-bend it a little bit to get it in there. All right, and then snap it into place. So there you go. You've got the RGB shades fully assembled. You can fold it like this. Usually you'll want to use fold the controller board first, and then fold the other leg on top of that. So next thing to do, of course, is to test it. So you take your special cable, plug it into the USB port on the earpiece, and then go plug it into a USB power source. And then you can power it up. This is the power switch, and these are the control buttons. So let's turn it on. All right. So the back button, number 2, will adjust the brightness, and then the front button will adjust the pattern. Let's turn off some of the lights. And there you have it. It's just that simple. And it's kind of fun too. Like a little puzzle to put together. Thanks for watching.